Welcome back to Out of Bounds with the Ref. I am the Ref. As I continue my interview with Joshua, he talks about his love for drawing and how he got started. He also talks about his project that has the power to change how society views a superhero and a disability.
My older brother taught me how to draw Garfield when I was in kindergarten. And I started just drawing him over and over, and I got real good at it. And I was like, man, I can, and I love animation. So I always liked like Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes and Chuck Jones. But I think around 4th grade, I wasn't great, but I was better than everybody else. So it kind of, like, if I stay with this and just keep learning techniques, and I always took art classes and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much when, I think 4th grade.
As mentioned in the beginning, Joshua came up with an idea for a cartoon that he calls his baby, that is unlike any cartoon on TV today.
So Team Supreme is my baby. I started developing it around 2009. I came up with the idea because I've seen so many different cartoons, but nothing like what I created. So my whole thing was to think outside of the box and create something that a lot of people haven't seen before. You know, I'm a big Marvel fan, I'm a big DC fan, Stan Lee fan, and he created Daredevil, who is blind. I created a whole team of superheroes and actually a universe that has people with like a medical difference or a disability, but they're the forefront with the superpowers. Instead of just somebody in a wheelchair in the background riding past, you know, he's got the superpower. So I started doing research and consulting with people who have certain disabilities and doctors and nurses like that. And I just started becoming infatuated with autism and, you know, bipolar disorder and sickle cell and all these other, you know, depression and blind and deaf. So I wanted all of these different type of characters to have these dope stories and these dope superpowers. So as I'm getting these researches done and I'm consulting with people, like, I didn't know that if somebody is blind, their hearing will be better, or that, you know, all the senses get enhanced. So I'm like, man, what? To me, that's dope. So I started getting infatuated when I was telling people. I was like, man, if I wasn't an artist or athlete, I'd probably be a doctor, man, because I love learning about that stuff and just crazy infatuation about it. And my main character who has autism, Zeke, I'm learning about autism and stuff and just learning how their mind works and how they can numbers and definitions. And I work with a few people who are on the spectrum, and I think we're all on the spectrum somewhere in there. So, and I think I know sports, but when I talk to my guy at work who's high functioning, like, he humbles me because he knows every definition. And Michael Jordan wore these shoes and there was 30 million people watching this game and 40,000 in the stand, and he'll break down. And I'm like, what the? And to me, it's dope, man. So I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm pretty intelligent, but those are like superpowers, to be that type of smart. And just if you mention, like, yeah, February 3rd on 1940, he'll be like, yeah, that was a Wednesday. And then be so confident, oh, you don't have to check. And then when I check, it's a Wednesday. You're like, how? How do you? I don't get it, but it is a superpower. So it was easy for me to come up with these characters. Like, man, how come nobody has done this? But I know and probably understand it was fear, because you don't want to step on anybody's toes when you're creating something this, you know, this is kind of personal. And so you want to make sure you do it right and consult with people who actually have these disabilities. So that's kind of what's taking so long with my cartoon.
Although his athletic persona prefers a sport where the outcome depends on his ability alone, this is Joshua's perspective behind the dynamic of a team when it comes to animation.
Like, in the animation field, you have to have a team behind you, and you're only as good as the people on your team.
And the team he has working with him on this project consists of some pretty supreme heavy hitters.
I'm actually working with Jason Weaver, who plays Simba's singing voice. So he's a producer. I have Lena Waith, I have Rishi. I have a good team behind me. So Lena's she runs the production company Hillman Grad, and Rishi is the president of that, of her company. So have a great developmental team behind me. So we're getting ready to do this big pitch that I can't speak on right now, but I'm super excited about it. And so maybe I'll come back and break the news to y'all first. But so yeah, that's where we're at right now. We really developing it. And that's kind of what's taking so long, so I apologize about that. But it's such a sensitive subject that it has to be perfect. So we're not trying to step on any toes. We wanna just really show as much diversity and inclusion as possible, because that's my main thing.
The opportunity to work with such dynamic people is due to the graciousness and zeal about the project from his lawyer.
My freshman year here at the Art Institute, I had I created my LinkedIn and stuff and started networking, and I kind of teased Team Supreme, and Ms. Gia hit me up, and she just kept hitting me up. She's like, hey, let me take this and start getting it out there to some people that I know. She's the one that kind of started it, and then I think after I graduated, my senior year, I started getting more interviews with big time companies, A+, and a few others, and Mashable, and one of the interviews went viral, and I kind of met another group of, a couple, and so they hit me up. They're like, he's a producer. Shout out to Benny Tillman, Dada Tillman, and he's like, hey, Jason's a good friend of mine. Hit him up on not LinkedIn, but Instagram. So I was like, all right, man. So I said, hey, this is me. My guy told me to hit you up and just let you know I got this cartoon that I'm interested in. And I've always been a big fan of Jason. He's just he's a true human being. He's just a good dude, great mentor to me. But I got it to Jason. Jason hit me up. He's like, man, let's get together. Let's go watch a game. I get food, and that's what we did. We ate, we talked about it, and I had my little pitch Bible right there with pictures, and he fell in love with it, and he kind of started pitching it around. And then one day he was like, man, I apologize. I don't know why I didn't think of Lena. They both from Chicago. So he's like, man, I showed Lena, and Lena actually saw I don't know if Jason posted it or shared my interview, but Lena actually did an interview with some guy, and she was talking about Team Supreme, not knowing it was me.
So I add this young African-American guy wrote this sort of comic book about superheroes who have disabilities and how their disabilities help them save the world. And so I hit my exec and I was like, let's try to meet this guy and talk to him, because that was something that, even though obviously I'm an able-bodied person, but I was like, that's phenomenal. That's how I think that the things that make us othered make us dope. So, yeah.
So I hit it up. I'm like, man, that was me. Thank you. So I was real happy. And from there, sat down with Rishi, who's the president, and now we always been together ever since. So we just been developing it all this time. So it's been great. Very grateful. And Jason, and I always tell him, man, like, you giving me a lot of credit, man. He's a big supporter of mine, and it's very humbling, because it goes both ways. And I tell him, when we get off the phone, we're having these meetings, I'm like, bro, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate your honesty. And I tell all of them, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I went to an art school, so everything is blunt and, is straightforward. And I let them know, like, you just be honest with me, man. If my work is trash, if you don't like this, how I have this drawn, just let me know. So, and he does, and I appreciate that. But for him to, just kind of really vouch, and because he knows how hard I work. And when I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, he's like, bro, what are you doing up, man? And I'll send him artwork, and he's like, oh, hardest work I know, man. So that's love and respect, and I'm real grateful for that. Especially the next Stan Lee thing. That's major for me. I was like, what? I'm all right, man. I mean,
I can say this on camera, like, this dude is the next Stan Lee. Like, this dude is the next Disney. Like, he's creating.
That is a big statement.
No, it's huge, and he's a genius. His work ethic is unmatched. It's an honor and a pleasure to be working alongside with him.
But I'm humble, man, so I'm thankful. I really am. I just want to inspire people, so bring some positivity into this world. We need it bad.
It isn't just his athletic nature and work ethic that makes him work the way he does. He has one special motivation.
My daughter, shout out to Sanaya Grace Leonard. She's, like I said, she's a hurricane baby. So that's my heart right there. That's the motivation that makes me go. And I want to be so successful for her, and I want her to see this. as a black animator, as a black artist. And I didn't mention that animators in the industry that are of color are less than 3%. So for me to have Team Supreme come out and for them to see created by and then have my name at the bottom is huge for all kids, especially kids of color. But my daughter really motivates me to win and just be successful. We want to motivate kids or people who have a disability and really show, like, you know, you can do this as well. You're this dope. You know, you just got to believe in yourself. I just spoke at in New Jersey about 2 weeks ago at Novartis, a pharmaceutical company, and it was called a Disability Mentoring Day, and I had a blast, man. It was like 150 kids there who all have a disability, and I kind of just motivated them to find their superpower, and that's really what I want to do with Team Supreme. Like, just because you have a disability, I made the disability their superpower, which never been done before. So that's the goal. We want to inspire.
We're almost done. Next Friday, in the last part of my interview with Joshua, he introduces us to Team Supreme. Thanks for watching, and as always, remember to be the daylight in someone else's life and enjoy the daylight in yours.